Though we are white force, you can't. White denotes peace, but we are brutal. But मेरे साथ क्या हुआ? We had a ship attachment also, 1 month का, and unfortunately that was during the Kargil war.
There's a one very important line that when Navy enters the war, the maps change.
When the Indian Navy was formed, so unfortunately it was given a defensive role. 65 की जो war थी, Navy was not part of that.
Right,
उनको
sir.
डिफेंसिव रोल में रखा एंड पाकिस्तान अटैक्ड वन ऑफ द प्लेसेस द्वारका को. पाकिस्तान वाज अ स्ट्रॉन्गर नेवल फोर्स इन 62 to 65 पीरियड, मच मोर देन इंडिया. 65 के बाद वॉर में आर नेवल चीफ डिक्लेयर्ड अगर हमें मौका दे दिया तो हम पाकिस्तान का नक्शा बदल देंगे. एंड एग्जैक्टली वो हुआ. 71 Indian Navy entered the war, and we all know how Bangladesh was created.
And the maps
And
changed.
that is where we draw our Navy Day, 4th December 1971, को जो हमने अटैक किया था. Karachi was burning, and Markham port and various other ports in Pakistan was literally burning. I'm a big fan. I mean, big worshipper of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. You know, as you speak, all my table will have Chhatrapati's this thing. So this one of those my study table.
The first thing which
Yeah.
I do in the morning is.
And Navy definitely, because you know we have a base called INS Shivaji, which is the cradle of marine engineering. NDA या फौज तभी join करना है when you have that interest, not your parents. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. You know, wearing that uniform, wearing that stripe star, uh, will demand so many sacrifices from you. Your mind is a very very powerful horse. वो आपकी सब कुछ कंट्रोल करता है. दैट इज व्हाई वी से ना डिप्रेशन ये जो होता है, यू नो, व्हेन यू सी पैरालंपिक्स. जब मैं पैरालंपिक्स देखा था, इट इज सच अ मोटिवेटिंग थिंग टू सी अ पैरालंपिक्स, एंड इट वाज हार्ट ब्रेक फॉर मी बिकॉज आई वाज मेडिकली नॉट सेलेक्टेड. थिंग आई आल्सो कैरीड व्हेन आई वेंट फॉर माय इंटरव्यू कि यार ये हमारे लिए नहीं है, सब फौजियों के बच्चों को ही सेलेक्ट करेगा, पार्शल होते हैं लोग. But trust me, it's an open playground for all of us. Probably only few institute in country where everyone is looked at par. I would say if someone who don't play any sports, he's just wasted his life, you know. इसलिए कोई भी एक स्पोर्ट्स खेलना बहुत जरूरी होता है.
From my side, one, I would say that sir is being very humble and soft when he's saying that you have to get up at 4:30. Because I cannot remember even a single day when I got up before or after, I would say, 3 o'clock. Jai Hind, everyone. I, Chinmay Mahale, ex-OTA, ex-Indian Air Force, welcome you all to Defense Mavericks. On our first talk show today, we have invited a guest who is very special to us. I'm sure he's very, very special to all the defense aspirants out there. Sir is an Indian Navy veteran, a Kargil War veteran, and he's a 7 times TEDx speaker. Sir is working as a vice president in one of the leading corporates, and Sir is also the author of a couple of bestsellers. In 2021, Sir was awarded with the Best Author Award, and he is also an ultra-marathoner. Sir has completed the Comrades run of 87 kilometers in 12 hours twice, and he has the unique knack of spreading awareness and motivating students through his humorous anecdotes and stories. Once, when an army jawan was not able to comprehend what the rank lieutenant commander means, so sir just said कि मैं पानी वाला major हूँ, and things just eased out after that. So without wasting any time, let's welcome our very own पानी वाला major, Lieutenant Commander Bijay Nair. So welcome everyone, Jain, future officers. So today, as I've already told you about, sir, we have a very, very special guest with us. And since it's the first video from Defense Mavericks on YouTube, so who better than Lieutenant Commander Bijay Nair to start the podcast? वो कहते हैं ना कि अगर शुभ शुरुआत हो जाए तो चीजें आधी चीजें तो वैसे ही ठीक हो जाती है. So who better than sir to start this journey? And I'm really glad, and sir, thank you for accepting our invite, because we really were thinking how to start कि कैसे अपना जर्नी शुरू करना है. But then सोचा कि सर से एक बार बात करेंगे, and when I had a talk with you, तो आपने मतलब without me even saying, you extend your support. So that means really a lot to us. And sir, so since we are focusing more on the written exams, and since it's completely for the defense aspirants, but we also are targeting to, tell more about Forge to the civilians. So, and since you have had best of both worlds, so my first question would be to you that how was your journey of Forge as in all three aspects, as an aspirant first, then as a serving officer, and now when you are in corporates, you are working as an ambassador, and you have also written books. So now you are an author as well. So how was your journey in all these three aspects?
Yeah, so first of all, a very warm good afternoon, rather, this is good afternoon. So, you know, to all of you, and Jai Hind to all of you. To both of you, uh, you know, uh, wishing you all the best for your journey. And the name echoes much, Defense Mavericks करके. So, and I'm told that I'm the first guest on your podcast or the educative series. So uh, that's what that's what is the importance of such talks which can give insights to various people,
Right, sir.
both parents as well as students who are going to see. आज के जमाने में कैसे स्टूडेंट्स के साथ साथ पेरेंट्स को भी अवेयरनेस होना बहुत जरूरी है,
Right,
especially
sir.
and lot of parents come to me also with respect to guiding and all, but I am not into purely into that field. I always direct to someone who's professional in that. So in that journey, I wish you both all the best. And as I discussed before the opening, uh, focus on focus on the quality aspect and the timeliness aspect, and
Right, sir.
think from the perspective of an aspirant, because you both have been an aspirant. Think कि एक aspirant को क्या चाहिए? Making money is the easiest thing that anyone can do,
Right, sir.
but when they come back to you as an officer future में, and that would be your real trophy, your real money. है ना?
Right, sir.
So coming back to the question, uh, my journey has been very beautiful. Uh, I was a hardcore aspirant from standard 9th standard से जब भनक हुई थी, because I'm a very, हम लोग पुराने vintage है, 1976 born and raised in 80s and 90s. And those days, internet का जमाना नहीं था. Information was very less compared to today, where you have plethora of information, you have internet, you have various classes, and अगर कोई क्लासेस नहीं जाता है तो यूट्यूब पे अवेलेबल है, तो इंफॉर्मेशन इज एवरीवेयर. हमारे जमाने में वो नहीं था. तो इट वाज मोर फोकस्ड ऑन अ वेरी फोकस्ड अप्रोच रादर. टेक्स्ट बुक्स होते थे, वेरियस पब्लिकेशंस यूज्ड टू बी देयर. forgetting about that publication जिससे मैंने पाथफाइंडर, yes, पाथफाइंडर publication, that was the guiding light for our students like us. एंड ऑफ कोर्स, जो पहले की बोलते थे कि अगर एनडीए का एग्जाम लिखना है तो यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन योर 8 9 10 11 12 का मैथ्स एंड साइंस, जस्ट ब्रश अप इट. दिस वाज द एडवाइस गिवन टू अस. सो प्रोफेशनल क्लासेस हार्डली होते थे, हार्डली, हार्डली.
Right,
There
sir.
used to be connectivity issues. So I was an hardcore aspirant from standard 9. From the time I got hooked on to a serial called Fauji, शाहरुख खान की एक सीरियल आती थी फौजी. And that was the first insight into the life of a army guy, army officers, army, Indian army क्या होती है. तो that serial really helped us, and that is the role media plays. आज के जमाने में that serial has been replaced by the social media. So people
Right.
like us who are there on social media, बहुत सारे पॉडकास्ट होते हैं, what we do as an individual, lot of people follow our life story. तो उनको ऐसे लगता है कि यार ऐसे होना चाहिए. So that is the difference between our time and today. Media plays a very very important role. So media is one of those five pillars of our nation, and it will keep happening. आज से 20 साल बाद कुछ और होगा, बट फौज में लोगों का आना जाना लगा रहेगा. एंड दैट एस्पिरेंट, आई एम सीइंग अ वेरी हाई सर्ज टुडे in the youth to join the armed forces, which is a very very encouraging sign. Very
Right, sir.
very encouraging कि लोग abroad यहाँ वहाँ भागना छोड़ के they want to be in the armed forces, and that really inspires me. And so वो मोटिवेशन के तहत आई प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर एनडीए, नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी. एंड हम लोग छोटे जगह से थे, तो दे विल नो वन टू गाइड अस. I would say it is luck also कि चलो जितना मालूम पड़ा उतने में किया. So cracking NDA exam, again I'm an average student, even today I'm an average guy. uh, जरूरी नहीं है कि यू शुड बी ब्रिलियंट एंड ऑल, बट ये जरूरी है कि मेहनत करना चाहिए. यू हैव टू पुट इन एफर्ट, क्योंकि मैथ साइंस और भगवान भरोसे होगा नहीं. आप दिन रात पूजा कर रहे हो और बोलेगा कि मैं एनडीए एग्जाम क्लियर हूँ, दैट डजंट वर्क. यू हैव टू पुट इन एफर्ट्स, राइट? सो so I used to spend time for my NDA curriculum, especially because I was very very passionate कि जाना ही है करके. And then luckily, as you know, NDA exams are one of the toughest exam. I would rate NDA exams more tougher than CDS exam. That is how the level of toughness is.
Right, sir.
And best of the best students appear for these exams. uh, those preparing for IIT, JEE and all, these are the caliber of students who appear for that interview, in that exam.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So the point here is कि मेहनत करो, मेहनत करना चाहिए. You have to really put in effort. And lot of people ask me कि सर क्लासेस जाना जरूरी होता है, या खुद से पढ़े या यूट्यूब से पढ़े. माय एडवाइस इज, क्लासेस जाना है तो ऐसे जाओ कि वेयर जो भी क्लासेस के जो सिखाते हैं वहाँ पे ओनर्स है या जो भी है, दे देमसेल्फ हैव गॉन थ्रू दैट साइकिल. वो खुद एस्पिरेंट रहा होगा, वो खुद पास हुआ होगा, फेल हुआ होगा, वो खुद रेकमेंड हुआ होगा, या वट एवर जर्नी, वो खुद अफसर बन गया होगा. दे ओनली अंडरस्टैंड दैट पेन. कोई
Right.
बिजनेस के पॉइंट ऑफ से करो तो मत जाइए. सो फाइंड आउट द गुड पीपल, एंड आई नो चिन्मय एंड नाउ Aditya also. So that is what we spoke. So going to classes, I won't say कि मत जाओ. I won't. It's an informed decision what you take. Go
Right.
with the best one, because you are investing time and money. And cracking NDA exams is not that tough. It is, again, coming back to that question. Answer is that it is how much effort you put to crack that. ऐसे ही उठ के चले गए, बोला मैं 12th का एग्जाम कर ही तो रहा हूँ तो एनडीए भी हो जाएगा, नहीं होता है. इट डजंट वर्क. So the point is, put hard work, put practice. So then I cleared my NDA written exam as expected. I was expecting that I'll clear written exams, and subsequently, after the exam process, there is something called SSB interview, Service Selection Board. So when I went for Service Selection Board, so it was a very inferior complex for me. So why I'm saying inferior? Because I belong to a small place from a chawl in Mumbai. And when I went there, that was the first exposure to me in a crowded situation. The elite crowd जिसको बोलते हैं ना, वहां जाकर जब एसएसबी का माहौल देखा, तो आई वाज स्कैर्ड इनिशियली कि भैया, द फर्स्ट थिंग विच केम वाज दैट इंफीरियोरिटी, दैट इनसिक्योरनेस कि हम कैसे पास हो जाएंगे करके. बट ट्रस्ट मी, it happens only for few minutes, 10 minute, 12 minute, when you are sulking and when you see people around you. So then you will uh, realize कि God has been so kind to you कि आपको यहाँ तक तो पहुंचाया करके. अब तो मेहनत की बात है. And yes, of course, बचपन से I was carrying that attitude of being from a small place, and God is with me, भगवान है साथ में, बिंदास दो जो होगा कल. And SSB make them open. See, what is SSB? Just to touch you upon that subject. Uh, SSB is, Forge requires a certain characteristic in a person. And if they see that characteristic matching the requirement of Forge, so more or less they select you. You may be super intelligent, you may be the best, you may be the most handsome there. Physically, you may be the best, you may be having six packs. That doesn't work there. It works, दोनों का requirement match और marry होना चाहिए.
Right, sir.
So my 3 4 advice would be, don't fake yourself. uh, Present your what you are, there. Be informed, be prepared. पढ़ के जाओ, एटलीस्ट बी अवेयर एसएसबी में कितने टेस्ट होते हैं, क्या क्या होता है. गो, कीप योर डिसिप्लिन. गो प्रिपेयर्ड इन द सेंस डॉक्यूमेंटेशन से लेके एवरीथिंग, वॉट एवर दे हैव आस्क्ड फॉर, गो विद दैट. थोड़ा भी वो बोलते हैं ना, थोड़ा भी ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए, कैजुअल एटीट्यूड नहीं दिखना चाहिए.
Right,
बिकॉज
sir.
you're going for a purpose, you're going for a purpose. एंड जो पैनल्स वहाँ होते हैं, इंटरव्यू के पैनल्स एंड GTOs एंड इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर, everyone is a learned person. They have gone through various tests themselves, much tougher on how to become the SSB panels and all. So they know the moment you enter in the first 1 hour, they know कि ये बंदा लायक है या नहीं है करके, ये बंदी लायक है या नहीं है करके. So don't try to fool them because you will be fooled ना by the end. So many a time ऐसे होता है. Lot of youngsters they feel कि यार मेरे में तो सब कुछ था करके ना, मैं क्यों बाहर हो गया करके. Probably the selection process is not up. So you can make so many comments, but trust me, same thing I also carried when I went for my interview कि यार ये हमारे लिए नहीं है, सब फौजियों के बच्चों को ही सेलेक्ट करेगा, पार्शल होते हैं लोग. But trust me, it's an open playground for all of us. Probably only few institute in country where everyone is looked at par. फिर आप जो है, it is your merit how you come through. And then बहुत कम selection rate होता है after 5 days of SSB. And so I was among the first five who was shortlisted after NDA SSB. And it was such a euphoric moment because you have dreamt of wearing a uniform and you were so closer, almost 90% closer. Because उसके बाद medicals आता है, and probably I underestimated medical. मुझे लगा नहीं था कि ऐसे प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है करके. I was well within my weight, super fit, into sports, no visual damage. Uh, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक ही था. But I was never knowing कि my eye had a problem. Eye 6 by 6 match नहीं हो रहा था. Even after correction. Even today I don't wear specs. But that was a shock to me. Then I thought कि यार ये लोग partiality कर रहे हैं. It is जो मैंने सोचा था वही हो रहा है कि ये लोग अपने को नहीं करेंगे करके. And it was heartbreak for me because I was medically not selected. Then I came out, uh, and then there was no other interest of going back to Fauj again. बोला ठीक है नहीं होगा मेडिकली आउट, मतलब परमानेंट मेडिकल नहीं था. लकीली इट वाज अ TR.
Right.
एंड टू अपील फॉर अ TR उस जमाने में had to go to Delhi. उतना पैसे नहीं थे because my father was not having that much of money and somehow that dream died. शायद TR अप्लाई करता था उसके अगेंस्ट तो शायद हो भी जाता. इट वाज नॉट अ बिग डील. बट वो अवेयरनेस नहीं थी, गाइडेंस नहीं था. एंड देन आई वेंट ऑन टू डू माय इंजीनियरिंग की. 4 साल इंजीनियरिंग होती है. तो आई वाज एन एवरेज स्टूडेंट. एंड इन द फोर्थ ईयर ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग आई अपीयर्ड फॉर द शॉर्ट सर्विस टेक एंट्री नेवी का. बोला कि चलो एक बार फिर से देखते हैं करके, दिस वुड बी द लास्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी लाइफ वुड प्रोवाइड. तो एक बार फिर से देखते हो. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, क्या होता है ना, एक बार आप SSB क्लियर करते हो, मोर और लेस यू कैरी द सेम एटीट्यूड एप्टीट्यूड. तो मोर और लेस आप क्लियर हो ही जाते हो.
Right, sir.
So I cleared my whatever SSB interview again. I was shortlisted. Medically, same issue cropped up, but again, as I said, it was a border case. Then also, so this time I was lucky to get through. Medically in ho gaya, and then I was All India rank 4 in the merit.
Nice.
This was the journey, and then I was so closer to joining the Naval Academy. And academy में it's a different life. First 3 weeks are really tough. You have to find your orientation. काफी लोग चले जाते हैं because we are a graduate entry. Many of them couldn't cope. A lot of my postmates who got selected, at least 6 to 7 of them left in first through 2 3 weeks. But those who sustains and survive उसके बाद फिर तो बन ही जाते हैं अफसर. Unless you are injured or something, injury which happens uh, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever. You have to be really careful. So training is tough, training is demanding, and there is no lackadaisical moment, and you have to be really aware, capable. And because एक भी एक्सीडेंट हो गया एकेडमी में, nobody, then it's a disaster which happens. बाद में फौज won't take care of you. I mean, I'm blunt and open in telling that कि एकेडमी में अगर आपको कुछ हो गया, they will help you with respect to your hospitalization and all. Once उनके दायरे से हट गया तो you are that is the unfortunate बीच का जो point होता है ना,
Yes, sir.
which is the only lacuna which Forge carries with respect to the cadets. I hope in the coming years it is sorted out. And yes, academy life was tough, up and down, up and down. So all those who want to join NDA or CDS after CDS, OTA or NAVAC or Air Force Academy, nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. Wearing that uniform, wearing that stripe star, uh, will demand so many sacrifices from you. Yes, it will demand sacrifices. काफी कुछ झेलना पड़ता है एंड फॉर अ पर्पस एकेडमी में जो भी होता है रगड़ा से लेके जो हम बोलते हैं मेंटल टॉर्चर से लेके एवरीथिंग दैट इज फॉर अ पर्पस क्योंकि कल को अगर आप वॉर में पकड़े गए प्रिजनर ऑफ वॉर बना दिए गए तो आपको उससे भी बदतर ट्रीटमेंट दिया जाता है दो जेनेवा कन्वेंशन एंड ऑल इज देयर दैट इज ऑन पेपर तो आपको प्रिजनर ऑफ वॉर में जब होगा तो यू विल बी टॉर्चर्ड एंड आपको वो लाइन पे प्रिपेयर करते हैं दैट इज द एक्सट्रीम प्रिपरेशन विच एकेडमीज डज एंड इट्स फन यू मेक लॉट ऑफ फ्रेंड्स कोर्समेट्स और एकेडमी से बाहर हो जाते हैं तो ऑल योर सीनियर्स जूनियर्स सभी दोस्त बन जाते हैं एक कोर्स दो कोर्स अप डाउन एकेडमी में वो सबका आपका सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन होता है आपका सीनियर जो होता है और आप दुश्मन होते हो आपके जूनियर्स के लिए that's the beauty of academy they teach you so many things so had a good time in academy Indian Naval Academy. Earlier, it used to be in Goa, where I'm INS Madvi, and then thereafter, now it is in Eimala. So, had a good time. And after passing out parade, when I put my stripes, so passing out parade is a very beautiful moment. जो भी मुझे सुन रहे हैं अभी to all the cadets, all the aspirants rather who are aspiring to join the armed forces, there's one beautiful moment, for which is worth living for, which is worth living for. अगर आप फौज का यूनिफॉर्म पहनना चाहते हो no moment in your life would be as beautiful as this even your marriage or any other moment this would be probably would be rated one of the highest top two in your life so once you get your stripes your parents come and they unveil that stripe on you and then you get your bio courses in navy we called sub courses तो हम लोग सब कोर्सेज के लिए चला जाता है टू गेट ओरिएंटेड टू दी वेरियस जो भी नेवी में अदर अदर ब्रांच आई एम फ्रॉम द टेक्निकल ब्रांच तो लॉजिस्टिक्स ब्रांच क्या करता है जैक ब्रांच क्या करता है अदर अदर जो जो अलग अलग करते हैं वो सब जगह पे हम दो दो तीन तीन वीक जाते हैं एंड देन वी कम बैक टू आवर मेन स्कूल ऑफ टेक्निकल दिस थिंग जामनगर में बट मेरे साथ क्या हुआ वी हैड अ शिप अटैचमेंट ऑल्सो 1 मंथ का and unfortunately that was during the Kargil war 1999 so the ship which I was attached to that was part of an operation called Operation Talwar all of you know how Kargil war was it was Operation Vijay Navy participated as Operation Talwar and Air Force as Operation Safed Sagar so
Right.
33 naval ships were there off Karachi we did a blockade of Karachi the strategic war and that is one of the reasons why Pakistan surrendered of course, Army did the best there. That is a glorious chapter in our, war history. What Army did, and there are so many famous names. Equally, there are so many unsung names. जो जिसको कोई नहीं जानता है. We all know Captain Batra, Captain Manoj Pandey and all, but there are so many like Major Manoj Talwar. कोई जानता ही नहीं है.
Right, sir.
सर ने जो sacrifice किया है, probably, वो लिखने वाला कोई नहीं था तभी. फिर एक लांस नायक खेम सिंह बोल के है
Right.
फिर लांस नायक क्रूर सिंह बोल के है nobody know their story they had also equally but क्या होता है फौज में जब जाते हैं ना हम लोग we don't wait for glory to happen each one of us do their best and gallantry awards and all are uh, it's a way of commemorating you but at the same time not everyone gets some gets missed and some this thing so it's a part and parcel of life
Right,
so I
sir.
was with Talwar and the journey was beautiful I continued for 10 more years in various technical capability I was a specialist in the weapons and missiles I was with a missile base. There I was with the Marine Commandos. That was the training base for Marine Commandos. So I was very close to, so my training, my level of fitness, I have picked up from them. Even today, I run the ultra marathons and all. Then After 10 years and three ships and 10 years of service, I relinquished my 10 years of short service commission. I could have continued, but I thought of exploring because एक ही लाइफ होता है, 10 साल फौज को दे दिए तो बोला कि चलो अभी सिविलियन एक्स वेटरन बन के देखते हैं, पहले
Right.
तो सिविलियन एस्पिरेंट था, फिर फौजी थे, अभी वेटरन हो गए. So this life is also
Not
beautiful.
only veteran, sir, you are
Um,
the ambassador also for all the defense
yeah,
aspirants.
yeah. So that is how, see, each veteran we become the ambassador for
Right, sir.
the armed forces, in a positive way. And बहुत कम लोग हैं जो नेगेटिव बोलते हैं फौज के बारे में. वी ऑल ज्वाइन द आर्म फोर्सेस. वी नो कि क्या सर्विस हम ज्वाइन करें, शॉर्ट सर्विस या परमानेंट कमीशन. सो
Right,
माय
sir.
टेक इज दैट इफ आई ज्वाइन शॉर्ट सर्विस कमीशन एंड मैंने परमानेंट कमीशन मना कर दिया, फिर मैं बाहर आके पेंशन के लिए लड़ नहीं सकता, बिकॉज आई वाज नोइंग दैट.
Yes,
So
sir.
only very few people speak ill about once they leave Army, Navy, Air Force. But 99% of them have gratitude towards Fauj. उसने कुछ बनाया. So life is good. Abhi bhi as a civilian, I'm in corporate now for 15 years. I'm a vice president with one of the companies. So it is how you live your life, how you treat your people, and how you together as a team go forward. So in
Yes.
short, in a nutshell, this was my life. है ना?
Sir, so more to touch on Operation Talwar and the role of Indian Navy, because, like as you also mentioned, like there are many written stories of operations of the Army and Air Force as well, but very few people know about the Navy. And there's a very famous saying. Everyone says the future of armed forces is the Navy, not only for India but for the entire world, because there's a one very important line that when Navy enters the war, the maps change, and that is what exactly happened in 1961. So if you can touch more on that part, like the role, the specific role of Indian Navy in any war, or touch more on that. Why?
If you see the geopolitical scenario and if you see the world as a whole, you see the Earth as a whole, we are 70%, 71% water and 29% land. So obviously, you have to be a water. ठीक है, land based, so definitely your armies are large, but the water waste plays a very crucial role. How you are at sea. So each countries are demarcated by their own boundaries, plus the international borders which we create in water. So Navy, अगर देखोगे, अगर if you see the historical perspective, आज हम see हमारा लाइफ स्पैन क्या होता है, for you, me and all, our impression on this earth is only for 120 years. अगर 60-70 साल में अभी जी जाऊंगा और अगला 50 साल मेरे जो बच्चे होंगे, बच्चे के बच्चे होंगे, दे विल रिमेम्बर कि अच्छा दादाजी थे करके, उसके बाद आर इम्प्रेशन गोज. तो इफ यू सी हिस्टोरिकली छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के टाइम से और उसके भी पहले, उनके भी पहले, नेवी हैज बीन वेरी वेरी क्रूशियल. ऑल द मेजर conquer or discoveries happened through water. You
Right,
say
sir.
the discovery of America or anywhere, people sailed. So Navy, once upon a time, it was not कि अभी Navy इतना strength. बरसों से Navy has been like that. Only technology change, things change. So, rightly speaking, every country has Army, Navy, Air Force. जहाँ पे भी all three are there. बहुत सारे कंट्री में नेवी नहीं होते, बट मेजोरिटी ऑफ द कंट्री हैज नेवी. एंड why not, it has to be. And as you rightly said, navy, even today, navy plays a very critical and technical role, technologically very very heavy, all the navies of the world. We come close to, I think, fourth or fifth navy in the
Yes,
world,
sir.
uh, after China, US, and a few other countries. So we are advancing, we are this thing. So surprisingly, you will see uh, our royal sailors and officers who were part of Royal Navy earlier. They played very, very crucial roles in the World War, World War
Right,
Two
sir.
and One and all. Because of our sailors and officers, we have won the Royal Navy could win that particular thing. Their stories have been, remarkable. People sailing, people killing one to one in hand to hand combat on board. And then when the Indian Navy was formed, so unfortunately it was given a defensive role. अगर आप 1962 तक देखोगे, पंडित नेहरू सेड कि नहीं नहीं नहीं, आपको डिफेंसिव रहना है करके, यू आर नॉट एन ऑफेंसिव. सो
Right, sir.
दैट बॉदर्ड आवर चीफ देन, एडमिरल रामदास जो थे, उसके बाद आई थिंक वाइस चीफ था, तो ही वाज रियली डिस्टर्ब कि ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया. And exactly that happened in the war with, when we say the war with Pakistan and all. 65 की जो war थी, Navy was not part of that.
Right,
उनको
sir.
डिफेंसिव रोल में रखा, एंड पाकिस्तान अटैक्ड वन ऑफ द प्लेसेस, द्वारका को. एंड ऑफ कोर्स दे couldn't do much damage, but Pakistan was a stronger naval force in 62 to 65 period, much more than India, because हमने कभी फोकस ही नहीं किया. एंड इन 65 के बाद वॉर में आर नेवल चीफ डिक्लेयर्ड, अगर हमें मौका दे दिया तो हम पाकिस्तान का नक्शा बदल देंगे. एंड एग्जैक्टली वो हुआ. 71 इंडियन नेवी एंटर्ड द वॉर, एंड वी ऑल नो कि हाउ बांग्लादेश वाज क्रिएटेड.
Yes, sir. And the maps
एंड
changed.
दैट इज वेयर वी ड्रॉ आवर नेवी डे, 4 दिसंबर 1971 को, जो हमने अटैक किया था. Karachi was burning, and Markham port and various other ports in Pakistan was literally burning because they underestimated the power of our Indian Navy. And that is why we got Navy Day 1971. And same could have been repeated in 1999 had we played an offensive role. So though we played a strategic role there, and we cut off their supplies, and 6 दिन का ration and fuel बचा था. So that is how Indian Navy played a very critical part in Kargil war. And ये कारगिल म्यूजियम में आप जाओगे, लेह में, वहां पर कारगिल में it is mentioned there. I was so glad to read that because I have been fighting this for so many years. In Navy ka part has to be included,
Exactly,
And I
sir.
was so happy that it was there. And as you rightly said, future is Navy. That is why if you see India is investing so many on so many naval ships, and the naval technology and so many things.
Yes, sir.
This is what the Indian Navy is. So you can't, though we are white force, you can't, white denotes peace, but we are brutal.
Yes, sir. So, sir, as you mentioned about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj has been my idol right from my childhood, and I have been really fortunate to know his stories, to read about him. So, and rightly so, is also called the father of the Indian Navy. So, what is his influence in the Indian Navy today? Like, we know it as a from historical significance, but like in the army, even today, the ethics and morals of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj are taught, and even guerrilla warfare is taught.
So yeah, as we say, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is the father of Indian Navy, and that holds good even today. Like all of us, when we are in academy, that spirit is rightly drawn into us. That how Maharaj was. I'm a big fan. I'm a big worshipper of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. As you speak, all my table will have
Yes.
Chhatrapati's this thing. So,
Even
so this one of those
it
my
is
study
the
table.
first thing which
Yeah,
I do in the morning is I look at
study
it and
table and
clean it. Yes, sir.
office and सब जगह Chhatrapati होंगे. Um, and Navy definitely, because we have a base called INS Shivaji, which is the cradle of marine engineering, and that draws significant inspiration from Chhatrapati uh, across Navy. So the principles of uh, Chhatrapati, what he thought, the leadership, the team building, the guerrilla warfare, the tactics. He's a perfect example of a king. He's a perfect example of a leader. There was aggression, there was compassion, there was humanness, there was humbleness, there was respect to others, all those aspects, at the same time, very, very strategic, very, very shrewd, very, very, intelligent. And that is why if you have a leader like that, then you will have a amazing team. And then Navy also respects and worship the likes of uh, Tanaji Malusare and Kanoji Angre and so many people. So if you see, we have a base called INS Angre, we have a base called uh, INS Tanaji,
Yes, sir.
and so many. That's purely drawn by the Maratha history rather.
Right.
And last year we had our Navy Day at Sindhudurg,
Yes, sir.
the place where everything originated.
Yes, sir.
So that is what is the impact Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his learnings and principles have on the Indian Navy, and it will continue.
Continue,
It
right, sir.
will
It will
continue
continue forever.
forever, rather.
Right, sir. Sir, so now coming back to the aspirants and their journey. So as you mentioned about your journey, it was, I would say mentally you had to be really tough, and especially for a person who is just 17, 18-year old when you give your NDA exam, and then even during graduation, it's early 20s age. So during this time, a lot of aspirants face failures. Now, recently, the results of CDS and FCAT was also declared. So many students would have cleared it, and some would have failed it who would have, worked really hard. So, what is your message to them, to both of them, who cleared and who were about to clear but could not, and who are now starting to prepare, like who are basically going to give their first attempt?
I'll start with someone who has not cleared. I would appreciate the effort you would have put in, to everyone who would have put in effort. जो ऐसी टाइम पास करके चले गए होंगे कि एनडीए बैठना है तो बैठ के गए, तो आई वोंट कंसिडर देम टू बी इन दैट लीग.
Right, sir.
But someone who has put in effort and they were just a bit away from making it to the written exam. There is next time, if you are eligible, there is next time. If not, go for the CDS, when it comes after graduation. Because 24-25 तक आप जितना भी आपका एज लिमिट होगा तब तक कोशिश करते रहिए. To someone who's preparing, as I said in the beginning of our talk, uh, दिल से prepare करो. You are not for the parents or not for anybody else. एनडीए या फौज तभी ज्वाइन करना है when you have that interest, not your parents. So
Right,
if
sir.
father would have been an aspirant some point of time और उनके दिन वो मिस हो गए होंगे, तो अगर वो चाहता होगा कि मेरा बच्चा बने और बच्चे को इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, तो नहीं करना चाहिए, rather, जबरदस्ती का.
Yes, sir.
Only and only do if you are interested, because Fauj is very very demanding, very demanding. NDA ये सब क्लियर करना is one aspect of it, one very important aspect. But आप रियल फौज में जाओगे तो तब पता चलेगा कि what happens. And to everyone who's cleared, right? So there is much more ahead. Uh, Now there is SSB interviews which happen, there is medicals which happen, there is a merit list which will come, and वो सब होने के बाद the academy life which you will have to leave for 3 years in NDA and 1 year of your specialization. And if you are opting for INA, so 4 years of INA, and then of course the Air Force Academy. Life is going to be tough, so you have to be mentally, physically, mentally tough. More than physical, yes, physically very tough, but mentally very tough. So
Yes,
you
sir.
will be, awaking at very odd hours like 4:30 and all. Then in that cold weather, you will be doing drills, you would be doing running, you would be under punishment, you would be in swimming pool, you would be at, practicing horse racing, you would be doing weapons, so many, so, and plus academics. So life is going to be challenging. It is not at all smooth. आई हैव नेवर सीन, आज तक मेरे हिस्ट्री में मैं जितने फौज के अफसर से बात कर, किसी ने भी बोला होगा कि इट वाज अ केक वॉक. इट इज नेवर अ केक वॉक,
Right, sir.
so it is just the beginning for who has cleared the written exams. Road ahead is tough but not impossible,
Yes, sir.
वैसे.
So from my side, one, I would say that sir is being very humble and soft when he's saying that you have to get up at 4:30, because I cannot remember even a single day when I got up before or after, I would say, 3 o'clock. So sir is being really very politically correct and humble when he says that you have to wake up at 4:30. But sir, now a bit on your part as a marathon runner. So I've been following you for so many years now, and I've seen so many marathons. But one which I remember, and I would I tell this as an example to almost all my students. Your comrades run, which was 87 kilometers, and it was not even in India, so the conditions were different. We don't know about the conditions. So if you can talk about the training part over there and also the sacrifices which you made. So I know what all things you had left, but I don't want to say it from my side. So it would be better if we get to know from straight from the horse's mouth. So, and also we talk about perseverance, we talk about time management, motivation, and all these things, because this is not something which you are doing as a full-time thing. You are also working as a corporate, you are working as a vice president, you are also an author. So many things to handle. So when we talk about these things, we know all the theoretical part, but how did you practically actually train for that? How did you keep your calm, and how did you actually manage to finish those 87 kilometers on that day? And also, sir, don't forget to mention about that sacrifice, sir, the special sacrifice which you had made.
Yeah, so see, sports is something which has to be part of your life, And then I would say if someone who don't play any sports, he's just wasted his life. इसलिए कोई भी एक स्पोर्ट्स खेलना बहुत जरूरी होता है. And being from the forge, I was always attached and very inclined to endurance, endurance sports.
Right, sir.
जहाँ पे पेन होता है ना, बॉडी को पेन होता है, दर्द दर्द देना हमारी फितरत में थी कि ना, कि
Yes.
एकेडमी टाइम एंड ऑल. And my love for distance running picked up from uh, Vishakhapatnam. And I was in a unit with the special forces, Marcos के unit में जब था, so I used to see them running with heavy weights and other thing. And somehow, दिल में था, I wanted to opt for the Marcos, but being short service commission, we were denied that. And फिर ऐसे था कि life ऐसे जिएंगे अभी ना, going forward, it would be like that. And then the ultimate endurance जो होता है, Marcos run 50 kilometers का route march and all. And then when I became a civilian, veteran rather, I won't say civilian, that is the time I settled in Mumbai, मतलब born and brought up here. Then Mumbai Marathon was happening. And the challenge was कि ये 21 किलोमीटर होता है, 40 किलोमीटर होता है करके. And I had put on some weight and all because of my thyroid issue when I came out of Navy. And so that was a perfect platform for me to have a redemption on my health. And that's the journey started. So and running is a very addictive sport. Distance running is a very very addictive sport because आपको अगर जिस दिन वो नहीं मिलेगा तो you would be तड़पेंगे आप कि over the time. So as I speak to you, I'm supposed to go to gym to run now after this. तो सुबह रन हुआ नहीं. So see, पहला 1 किलोमीटर 2 किलोमीटर इतना दूर लगेगा, बाद में 10 किलोमीटर 15 किलोमीटर तो it just happens. So
Right, sir.
it is such a sport where you have to love yourself, and you get that entire time in the world for you when you are running this thing. So training for comrades, when I heard about comrades for the first time, 87 kilometers in 12 hours, I was wondering कैसे लोग भागते हैं 87, that too in hills. It is not
Right.
कि flat road है या कुछ है. And varying temperature conditions, you start at freezing 3 degree in the morning, and then it varies to 8 9, and then mid afternoon में 23 24. फिर जैसे जैसे शाम होता है when you are about, then again it falls to close to zero, 0 to 3. So you have to adjust that. uh, Running a race wasn't tough, but training for it was tough because we are not a professional athlete. कॉर्पोरेट वाले जॉब है वो भी सीनियर पोजीशन पे, वेरी डिमांडिंग दिस थिंग. प्लस यू हैव योर ओन चैलेंजेस, फैमिली है, सब कुछ है. So it was difficult but not impossible, because once you love something as passionate, then it becomes a challenge. That's how I trained. I trained for 4 months. So my first I did in 2019, and Comrades is a race again. It's an army race. It was race started 100 years back to commemorate the fallen soldiers of South Africa, and that is how this significance. And it passes through hills and hills and hills. You have to, and there are 6 cutoffs for you to stay. So it requires huge sacrifice, like 4 months of no outing, no daru, and you have to be really clean and focused. So I did twice, one in 2019 and one in 23. Uh, so when COVID happened and things happened, so I was having COVID, I was having chikungunya. So I wanted to challenge myself again कि होता है क्या फिर से. So I trained hard, and I strongly believe कि अगर आप कोई भी चीज के लिए ट्रेन करते हो, whether it's a endurance sports or a NDA exam, it is achievable. ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं होता करके. So it's all about mind. योर माइंड इज अ वेरी वेरी पावरफुल हॉर्स. वो आपकी सब कुछ कंट्रोल करता है. दैट इज व्हाई वी से ना डिप्रेशन इन, ये जो होता है, यू नो, व्हेन यू सी पैरालंपिक्स, जब मैं पैरालंपिक्स देखा था, इट इज सच अ मोटिवेटिंग थिंग टू सी अ पैरालंपिक्स, बिकॉज यू नो बंदों के पैर नहीं है, एक बंदे का पैर भी नहीं था, एक हाथ भी नहीं था, स्टिल ही वन दी हाई जंप.
Right, sir.
ही कुड हैव इजीली सेड कि मैं डिप्रेस्ड हूँ, मैं सुइसाइड कर लेता हूँ करके ना, क्यों जीना है करके. बट टुडे इज द वर्ल्ड चैंपियन, एंड दैट मोटिवेट्स. सो भगवान ने हमको बनाया है तो पर्पस के लिए बनाया, नॉट टू गिव अवे योर लाइफ और थिंग्स लाइक दैट. एज सच आपकी जिंदगी 65 70 अभी जैसे जैसे आप लोग ग्रो अप होंगे तो मैक्सिमम 70 होगा, हम लोग एटलीस्ट 75 तक जी जाएंगे. सो एक चांस मिला है तो लिव इट फुली, लिव इट फुली.
Yes, sir. Right, sir. Sir, now one last question. I would say this question is something really I would you can answer straight from your heart. So basically, a lot of my civilian friends also who follow you, who are not interested in Forge, but they want to know. I mean, not interested in joining Forge, but they want to know about it. So they follow you, and they always expect that the podcasts which happen you speak more in those podcasts, but till now like you take the podcast and you have a guest. So in today's talk basically you are on the other side. Today I am asking and you got a chance and we got that opportunity that we could hear to you. So how are you feeling to be on the other side?
Yeah, it is always good to be on the other side, speaking more, and sharing things with people who, I wouldn't say followers, people who love to listen to you. Follower is something which is only meant for celebrities. We are not celebrities, we are common people. uh, so someone who can connect to you. So I feel happy to share my story, because somewhere someone will get inspired, and even if one person get inspired, the purpose is sorted out. And I'm glad to say that over the years, जब से ये medium पे आया हुआ है, I receive so many messages, so many people. Whenever you are in some city, so many youngsters come and meet. Like I was in Kolhapur 2 days back. There were people, whom I never know also. सिर्फ एक वो वड़ा पाव का फोटो डाला है इन कोल्हापुर तो लोग आ गए थे मिलने. There was one doctor, Rohit, who's a doctor. He's already done past his aspirant stage and all. But still, he was so excited to come and meet. There was another guy called Prem came to meet me in Mahalakshmi temple, and this happens in every town of India. And I was very surprised when I went to Arunachal for a talk, Nerist, first time in Arunachal. And when I landed in airport, I was so happy to see so many people knowing you in Arunachal. That probably was one of those happiest moment. Ki, okay, you are doing a human service where people relate to you, people relate to your struggle, people relate to your story. Of course, these are all intangible. कोई पैसा नहीं मिलता इन सब चीजों का, but the happiness which it brings you. And when youngsters who are in army, navy, air force now at a major level or lieutenant
Yeah.
level, uh, they coming back and saying ki, sir, you had inspired us, and that's why I have joined the armed forces, and today 5 years into service and things like that. So it is great, great to be there. And when I am on the other side, I always give a chance for my guest to speak, because that's the purpose.
Right, sir.
And that's the beauty of podcasting as a host. So I learn so many things from my guest, and my guests are mostly from the armed forces, 99.9. So I'm glad ki I could meet Vivek, Jacob, I could meet Shushant, I could meet Rajiv, I could meet Samar, Devi, Rudrashish, then Kaushal, Bhupi, amazing people, Niti, and so many people. नहीं तो हम फौज, मैं तो नेवी वाला हूँ, और आर्मी वालों से तो कोई कनेक्शन ही नहीं आता. बट नाउ पीपल नेवी में भी मुझे बोलते हैं कि सर आप बहुत ज्यादा आर्मी ओरिएंटेड हो करके, यू आर मोर ऑफ आर्मी गाय. I feel so happy for that. So both ways. Yes, sir.
Right, sir. Sir, so one last message to all the audience. I mean, a lot of civilians would also watch this, who are my friends, and that's why we also covered a few, questions which could let them know more about the armed forces. As I said, even if they don't want to join, or they don't want to be in the armed forces, they want to continue their career. So one last message to all the civilians and to all the audience and to all the aspirants as well, in fact everyone who is listening to this podcast.
So yes, my request to all of you जो भी सुन रहे हैं, respect your armed forces. They deserve it. They deserve it. Because अगर आप I have been to 21 countries for various I stayed there in various countries. I visited on tour to various countries. Every country has deep respect for their armed forces. Airport पे मिले तो they show that courtesy to them. So my humble request is please show that courtesy because अभी मैं लेह लद्दाख गया था, कारगिल गया था. The extreme condition with which our soldiers guard our borders or important place, it's tough. बारिश बर्फ में खड़े रहते हैं. And same goes for Navy, Air Force. We sail in very very tough conditions, this thing. And same goes for Air Force also, and goes for our paramilitary forces also. All of them, BSF हुआ, CISF हुआ, CRPF हुआ, even police force for that matter. So please have that respect. And if we respect, if we show that small thing towards them, it will motivate them further 200%. And when we went there this time with so many letters across India, thanks to Faujiana and Mahindra who supported this entire cause, I could see that bubbleness and happiness in each one of their eyes when they received that letter from across India. So that is my message to all the youth, to all youngsters, to everyone who will listen to this podcast, irrespective of our फौज join करे नहीं करे. But we should have deep respect. And second message would be that अगर हम वर्दी पहने भी नहीं, तो we all are equally फौजीज, all of us, because we are defending our nation, we are contributing to our nation. So we are a फौजी in ourselves. And every act, अगर आप घर के आसपास 100 मीटर में कुछ अच्छा काम कर दो, that itself is a thing which Fauj does. Okay.
Right, sir.
So to end this beautiful conversation, it is that be proud to be an Indian always. It's the most beautiful country. ठीक है, we are populated, we are corrupted in terms of country is not corrupt. There's the administrator who are like that. But there are beautiful people. Trust me, there are beautiful people. When you travel across the length and breadth of India, you will feel like so happy to be in this beautiful country, this powerful country. The legacy of so many warriors, है ना?
Right, sir. So to end, I would just say a very, very sincere thanks from me, from Aditya, and from the whole team. And I'm very sure that there could have been no better guest to start our YouTube than you, because as I've said, I've been following you for so many years now. एंड वो कहते हैं ना कि मतलब जैसे मैंने शुरुआत में भी कहा कि एक शुरुआत अच्छी हो जाए तो आगे की चीज़ें सॉर्टेड है. तो जो श्री गणेशा हुआ है हमारा, आई एम वेरी ऑनेस्टली वेरी हैप्पी. And I'm sure no duration is enough to ask questions, because I've had thought of maybe 100 questions and I could ask maybe 5 out of them. So that is the amount of talks we want from you. But I'm sure you will do many more podcasts with many other channels and much other platforms as well. So, sir, thank you from our side, and we really look forward to do many more podcasts with you, because I'm sure the audience and everyone, not only the defense aspirants, but as I always mention, that even the civilians would be very excited to listen to your stories, to know so many things about you, because you have done so many things, not one thing. So thank you, sir.
So
Thanks a lot. And
all the best to all of you who are part of Defense Mavericks. And I've known you very personally, so I'm sure you won't, you would not let me down personally because
yes, sir.
and you have been in the academies, and it was pretty unfortunate. But I'm sure that will motivate you and your team, Aditya, and others to do a very very humble and noble thing to everyone. And Yes, definitely we'll keep coming back whenever it is required. And I'm pretty happy with the length of the podcast because it was important to keep 45 minutes to that much. Otherwise, there is no end to this talk. We can speak for 6, 7 hours also. So a great beginning, and I'm sure a lot of other guests will come who will further share their things with thing.
So that was our very own Paniwala Major Lieutenant Commander Bijay Nair for you all. I'm sure you must be very motivated and inspired after listening to his stories. To be very honest with you all, following Sir on Instagram and connecting with him was the best moment of my journey as a defense aspirant. We have a list of esteemed guests whom we are inviting on our talk show. You will get to know about it as you follow the channel and as you keep watching the videos every now and then. Please do not forget to drop your feedback in the comment section and also tell us which guests you want us to call on this platform so that you get to know a lot of stories from them and even we all can learn through them. I thank you all. Your time is really appreciated. I thank you all to stay with us till the end. And I promise you that we will keep inviting guests for you all. And let's make this defense journey a little better and let's aim for glory. Thank you all. Take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind.